I know.
We know. We
I
know,
know.
Siri, that we're recording, or whoever the Zoom voice is.
It's Governor Gavin Newsom, actually.
Always watching. Welcome to That's Good Broncos podcast. I know Will and I said we were moving to Thursdays last week, but some shit came up and we got to do it Wednesday this week. We'll move to Thursday next week. Let me start this over. Welcome to the most confusing podcast on earth. I'm your host, Brandon Perna, here with Will Keys. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Make sure you use code DNVR when you sign up over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And, of course, my coffee company, benchwarmerbrew.com. Today is basically... Well, we've got 2 episodes left before we get Broncos preseason football.
Can't wait.
This is the last podcast before we get some NFL ball happening. The Hall of Fame games, what, tomorrow? Thursday? Friday? This weekend, isn't it? It's coming up.
It's usually on a Thursday.
I think it's tomorrow.
I can't wait to watch exactly 43 minutes of the Hall of Fame game before I change the channel.
Yeah, that's probably the toughest football game to watch. Even tougher to watch than the Pro Bowl.
Let's not go that far. Let's see.
I guess that's a poll question if we did polls. Which is harder to watch? The Hall of Fame game or the Pro Bowl?
Well, one of them, I think people are, half the team is trying at least. The half that doesn't have a roster spot secured. I mean, here's how meaningless it is. They just canceled it a few years ago. They didn't play one last year. It's also funny, like the Hall of Fame, now they have, I think it's an 8-minute limit for the Hall of Fame speeches.
Oh, wow. They really...
Famously, they're a little long-winded. But they're going with the Oscars approach, and I think they're going to play them off.
Wow.
I don't think any of them are going to be under 8 minutes.
You're trying to verbalize an entire career's worth of work and thank the dozens to hundreds of people who helped you get to the pinnacle of your career. So yeah, let them do their long ass speeches. People will watch the cut up versions later. Like, just let them have the live moment. I guess, like, if you're there, it might be like, okay, we're at 35 minutes. When is this guy gonna finish it up? When are they gonna cut it off?
Yeah, I think they should go back to no music. If you really want them off the stage, you might as well go for it and get one of those old timey canes and just pull them off like they used to. I don't know if that ever really happened or if it was just like a cartoon trope, but
yeah,
why not try it out? It might be kind of tough on, the bigger guys, but
you could
use a sturdy cane.
Yeah. Better be a solid wood.
Solid wood.
You could just intimidate them by like bringing up their biggest foe from their career too. Just having that guy like start getting closer and closer to the stage.
Yeah, like Ty Law creeping up on Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Aren't they being inducted at the same time?
I don't know.
Maybe. I might have made that up. I don't think anybody scares Steve Atwater. I'm going to be honest.
I don't think you can intimidate him.
Possibly just head injuries. Like the officials probably now would be his only foes. Yeah, but hey, I'll watch it. I'll watch the Hall of Fame game as long as, I can physically take it. We're going to stream preseason games. I think we're going to give that a shot in preparation for the regular season. But yeah, it feels good. It feels good to be closer. And I know we say that every week, but I can taste it.
Yes.
I can taste
it. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Phillip Rivers maybe coming back to the NFL. Broncos training camp shaking up a little bit more. One day it's Drew, one day it's Teddy, one day after that it's Drew again, and then it's Drew again, and then it's Teddy, and then it's Teddy.
That's Brett Rippin.
Yep. Drew Pat Shurmur said something nice about Drew Lock. He also said something really stupid. We'll get into that. Barstool Sports is stealing Will's best lines and using them for their headlines of their tweets and not even citing us in their articles. So we know Dave Portnoy hates me. And now apparently they want to not only hate us, but steal from us. Which,
yeah. And we have lawyers. We have powerful lawyers.
Yeah. Yes.
Somewhere.
Lawyered up. I think the lawyer I have is the bird law expert from Twitter.
Yeah. Which I think if you ever watch this podcast, he would probably not be a huge fan of me based on what I've said about his team.
No, he's
maybe not the best legal counsel for the two of us.
He's a big Chiefs fan. Probably an annoying Chiefs fan to some. But sometimes funny. And he posted a video of Pat Shurmur with no context around it, but it was just Shurmur after a day at training camp saying, we were actually trying to throw incompletions today at training camp.
Yeah.
Which, good find, Birdlaw, because if I found Andy Reid saying that shit, if I found John Gruden saying that shit, I would have a field day with it, because as an offensive coordinator, it does sound stupid.
Yes, and it stings a little bit more when the Broncos are probably the team that needs to practice incompletions the least.
Yeah, I feel like we got that. They got that mastered.
We got that cornered. Yeah.
Like if you go to Pro Football Focus and check out the Broncos incompletion rating, 99. 99.
Our Madden rating for
Madden. I guess Pro Football Focus would be like 97.83.
Yeah, they're probably like, there's situations where I assume you need to throw an incomplete pass to stop the clock.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as spiking the ball, which I believe is an incomplete pass statistically.
Or you could situational football where, you know, it's a 3rd and 7, but you're in the red zone, or you're taking a shot to the end zone. If the pass is not there, you just throw it away. Practice that for the field goal.
You know what? This actually reminds me, the one time Drew Lock actually tried to throw an incompletion at the end of that Dolphins game, he fucked that up and completed it to Tim Patrick for like 60 yards.
Well, that's the thing. You throw to Tim Patrick, he's coming down with the ball, no matter where you put it.
Do not try to throw incompletions to Tim Patrick. Yeah. That's like, you got to target like Deshaun Hamilton on those. Go deep to Deshaun Hamilton, and the chances of an incompletion are astronomical.
Yeah. When I was at training camp last week, Tim Patrick was just catching anything thrown his way. It's like, God, the dude's just solid. He's just solid.
Give us regale us about your trip.
I mean, there's not too much to divulge. I had a great seat because I was in the family and friends section. I won't tell you how I got there, but thank you, some of the Broncos players, for not knowing they gave the pass to me, but getting me in.
Nice.
I think like I noticed what every Broncos media member tweets about every day. And it's that when you don't have a true quarterback, your quarterbacks are going to look good and then they're going to look bad. And the day I was there, Drew Lock did not look good. He just didn't. And Teddy Bridgewater looked better. He wasn't taking like as many risks. He was doing safe shit with the football. It was like nothing in like super impressive by Teddy, but you know, Locke was throwing some picks, missing some targets. And then Teddy finished practice with like a great throw to Tim Patrick in the corner of the end zone. It was the last drive. So I'm like, yeah, these quarterbacks, when you're doing a competition, they're going to have up and down days at practice. Like I'm sure even good quarterbacks have, right? But nobody talks about it because nobody's worried like Russell Wilson's going to not be good this season, or,
Right.
nobody's like Russell Wilson had an off day at training camp practice. They don't notice that shit because they're watching for other storylines to talk about, because that's not a storyline. The funny thing that did happen though was Garrett Bowles jumped off sides, and it was in like red zone drills. He jumped off sides. The defense started taunting him, and he started like taunting the defense back a little bit. And the play after that's when Teddy threw the touchdown to Tim Patrick. And afterwards, Bowles said, I jumped off sides on purpose to give our quarterback a little more room to work with, and it worked out. So
kind of galaxy brain on his part.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. No, hey, if you can spin it like that, you kind of have to. It's your duty to do so. Anybody you met that you thought was cool at training camp?
No, because like we were in the family and friends section, but
really nice. Okay.
COVID, the protocols, like the players can't even come over and talk to their family and friends after practice. And they're like, you can meet them out in the park afterwards if you want. Like, not going to wait around in a park for nobody to show up. So
yeah,
I met fans of my show, which was nice.
Yeah, I saw that. No, but yeah, single adult, or not single, but like adult men on their own waiting in parks, generally frowned upon.
Yeah, like with an autograph book for other adult men to sign.
Yeah, not always the best look, but no, that's awesome that people were there and obviously recognized you, and we love our fans so much.
Oh yeah, that's the best. Awesome. There was, see, I took the play sheet with the roster so I could talk about a guy on there who I thought had a few nice catches, but I don't remember his name. Maybe his number was 86. Maybe. But when preseason happens, I'll keep my eye on him, because the Broncos receiving core, they're going to have some tough decisions to make in that department.
It's maybe the deepest unit.
Yeah.
Like across the NFL.
There's some talent there.
I don't understand why the Saints haven't tried. I mean, maybe they have, but like if I was the Saints, and obviously, Michael Thomas is hurt, and it doesn't seem like Michael Thomas is going to be there long term. I would throw picks at Tim Patrick.
Oh man,
or anyone. I'd shoot for Cortland Sutton and see who you can come up with.
Tim Patrick's would be like the best Robin to any team's Batman you could find. Like would be such a good number 2 receiver on a really good offense that maybe has a question mark at that position. And he might, like, it depends on how long it takes before Cortland Sutton sort of, gets comfortable on his knee, depending how Jerry Jeudy progresses. Like, he could be the Broncos, like, leading receiver early this season.
Yeah, it's funny how, like, and I don't say that because I want any of them gone, because just if you have the talent and it's not expensive, like, this team does not need to worry about money at this juncture at all.
No.
They might not need to if they don't end up paying a quarterback anything. But we saw how the injury situation played out last year, and maybe it's just a good idea to have a lot of good players at one position. It really can't hurt. No. KJ Hamler seems like he's, prone to injury a little bit. So just keep some depth there. Like, we always talk about Tim Patrick, like he's expendable, and he was good money last year. Just keep him. Maybe
he 0 drops last year. He's a big bodied receiver. He wins his battles, and he catches everything. He catches tough balls. He catches the easy balls. Like, he can catch on the sideline. He can catch across the middle. It's just a dude you want on your roster. I think, wide receiver, your tackles, and your corners. Like, you can't have enough depth at those positions. You could throw in edge rusher as well, but I feel like those positions, you can never have enough guys. And the Broncos seems like they sign a corner every other day. Adding another corner to the roster, huh?
Rochester, man. Ferris.
Apparently, Rochester man's had 2 picks too to end the last 2 practices. So he's trying to make a name for himself.
Rochester, man.
The
new Marvel superhero everybody's talking about. I know Andrew Mason tweeted this, but I think if we redid that names draft that you did on their podcast, Rochester, man, he'd be
already in it.
First or second round pick.
Could be.
Pretty incredible. Good for him, though. I hope he gets like a practice squad shot or something. I mean, yeah, it's crazy because cornerback is as deep as wide receiver just about.
Yeah, except like a handful of their corners are coming back from bad injuries.
Yes.
So it's like you don't know when some of those guys will be ready. You draft, Patrick Surtain at 9. I think OJ Mudia might be pretty good this year. And then you went out and got Fuller and Darby. So, and you still have Bryce Callahan. Like, the corners better, like, the secondary better be fucking good. And you can have a great secondary, but if your offense isn't staying on the field and scoring points for you, not going to look great all the time.
No,
I mean, at a certain point, they get tired. They get, just worn down. Let's just hope that's not what we're talking about this year. Fuck.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have depth. And it like another thing the depth allows too is it seems like they're trying to get a little experimental, a little avant-garde with Patrick Surtain in terms of how they're playing him. And I like that because he's a big, solid dude. And you got cover corners already. So I don't know, maybe get a little crazy, get a little nuts.
Yeah.
And, do some, take advantage of his athleticism and see if you can put him out there as kind of a wild card robber sort of guy and, see what happens.
Yeah, him and Simmons, like, both look really big in the secondary. So the Broncos got good size there to match up with, big bodied receivers this season. Speaking of big bodies, why don't you take your big body and head over to DraftKings Sportsbook, which is not only my favorite sports book, but also America's top-rated sports book. America also, we love big bodies. Speaking of America, our top athletes are over in Tokyo competing for the gold, and DraftKings has a medal-worthy offer just for my listeners, not Will's listeners, mine. Place any pre-event wager of $1 to be eligible to cash $100 in free credits if America wins any medal this year. That's 100 to 1 odds on an American athlete to stand at the podium and receive gold, silver, or bronze. That's all the medals you can get. 100 to 1 odds on an offer like this does not come around very often, so sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook now to get in on all of the action. I love using DraftKings Sportsbook because it's easy to navigate, has plenty of instructions for all of you noob bettors, and nearly limitless ways to get in on all of the action. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR. Use those letters when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits if America wins a medal. That's code DNVR to turn $1 into $100 in free credits for limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions only. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Great segue, Brandon. Thank you. All right. Well, I want to talk, before we go into the Broncos just a little bit more.
Yes.
Like we always do so well here. Okay. I want to talk about Barstool Sports stealing your headline.
Our headline.
Well, you wrote it, and I just realized it was a gem. So Will and I kind of added a segment to, just fine tool the segment for That's Good Sports, where most of the episodes that are the news episodes, we're starting with just headlines, which are just headlines from around the NFL with quick, like, read the headline, come up with a punchline or a joke or some sort of dumb analysis, but a little bit quicker, and we can get through more things that are happening around the NFL. And Will really took the charge on it, did a great job. And Buffalo Bills, there was this thing about them moving to Austin, and Will wrote a great line, I thought, about the Bills are trying to pull a Joe Rogan and move to Austin, Texas. And then we ended up elaborating on the Bills a little bit. And I was like, make sure we keep that joke in there. Like, I specifically pointed out that joke to Will. I was like, let's keep it in. I think it's a good reference. And we did. And then I posted the episode. And it's not like a home run joke line. You know what I mean? It's just like a good reference.
Yeah, solid.
Wanted it in the episode.
7.5 out of 10.
We don't talk about a lot of shit. We just write and then I shoot. But we mentioned that one specifically. Post the episode like an hour or two later. I see Barstool Sports promoting their article about the Bills and the possible move to Texas. And they're like, Buffalo Bills pull a Joe Rogan and threaten to move to Austin, Texas. And I was like, you sons of bitches.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, the wording specifically.
Yeah, pull the Joe Rogan. Verbatim what we said.
And I haven't read the artitle. Maybe I should have done that. But
I looked in there and they didn't
gonna
reference
read
us.
No, I don't have time to read a 500-word article by someone who could probably barely spell.
You work with that guy every day.
Yeah, but we make videos, not articles.
No, that's true.
You don't need to spell for a video.
Nope.
Absolutely not. And that's
as
why
long as I can say the word, I don't need to learn to spell it.
Hell no. I will admit that there is a possibility of parallel thinking.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that you saw that line somewhere.
Oh, no. That came from right here.
Okay, good.
No, I did not get that from like Twitter or Reddit or anything. But it is a natural conclusion to come to.
Yeah.
However, the fact that it was verbatim and the timeline, and we know that, Barstool has eyes everywhere.
They've done this before.
But specifically on this channel. And they have a bit, and I'm not anti-Barstool.
No, I just like, if they saw it in my video, one, I would be flattered that somebody there was watching my shit.
Yeah.
Like maybe, they're writing this thing about the Bills. They see this video pop up that's about the Bills, and then they watch my segment. It's like, oh, there's nothing new for me to take away here. But like they had like 5 tweet references in there. Like, just reference us once. Like I want to be included in that. I wasn't mad because like, I don't need, like they are competition, but like, I don't think of it that way anymore. Like, you and I just try to make a good episode every day. Like, that's all I want to do.
Really don't get caught up in, like, what you try to do is find like who would be the competition and kind of like ally ourselves with them.
Impress them.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And there's a time when we thought that we needed someone like Barstool to help us.
Past that time. We passed.
Not anymore, baby. Thanks to listeners.
Thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Thank you for
maybe the best segue ever.
Yeah. Instead of my shitty one earlier. Fuck. I'll figure this out one day.
Segues are pretty hard.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not mad. But we're asking politely, if you want to take our jokes, just ask us next time.
Yeah.
I would have said yes. As long as you credit me and pay me my usual $2,500 fee per joke.
Will charges me $500 per joke.
Yeah.
That's why I only use one good joke per episode.
Yeah, the videos would be so much funnier if we had a budget.
I mean, look at all that fine wood Will uses to my money to buy.
Yeah.
Look at that fine wood. Look at that
this is my new office chair. It's antique, but it's also restored and it's very comfortable, which is why I'm leaning forward. Just ask us next time, maybe PFT commenter and Big Cat could feature.
I think I burned my bridge with PFT. He was nice to me. He followed me. He answered my DMs, and then I kept bugging him. And then I think like a couple of times when I was drunk, I DM'd him again. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I like looked at it like a month later. I was like, wait, what did I send him? I was like, oh,
oh. I feel like PFT more than anybody would understand.
Yeah, no, he was cool.
Drunk DM.
Yeah, I have emailed every important person in that company. So if they ever get really mad at me and like post my emails to them, I'll have a meltdown because I'm sure there's spelling errors. Speaking of, I'm sure like there's just some poorly judged ways to try to sell yourself. But again, I'm past that. So they can embarrass me publicly and it won't matter. Just be like,
and now, it almost feels good that they are now relying on us for content. We are originals and they are Carlos Mencia's.
Yeah.
Amy Schumer's.
I think that's like the one thing I'll always be proud of, even if it ends up sinking us, is that we don't look for other people's jokes. Like,
no.
Sometimes I see better jokes on Twitter that I would like to use. Usually I'll just show that tweet and read it. Like, this joke was really good. But like, I think Will and I pride ourselves on really trying to come up with win or lose our own ideas for what we're talking about. It's why like I had like a 2-minute segment about Todd Gurley signing with the Ravens, even though he didn't sign with the Ravens, because I was like, I know all the shit I want to say about this. Like, I didn't have to look to the internet because all the information was there. I was like, boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, he actually didn't sign there. So
yeah,
we try to be original. I think there's something, it's hard to do. You don't always get the best material, but we don't steal shit.
No.
And if we ever do sound like if we have a similar joke, it's a coincidence.
For instance, so if you come up with like a really like good joke very quickly, chances are someone else on the internet has thought of it and posted it. But if I like know that it came from me, I feel good about putting that in there. Like for instance, to spoil a joke from tomorrow's video, there was that bird Ted for the for Washington that they posted. They signed him to a contract, and I was talking about how Washington needs a mascot, and you said the Ted Birds, but I tweaked it to the Washington Tedskins. And I'm sure that
it's already out there.
I'm sure it's out there, but I came up with it in my own mind and I have not seen it since.
Yeah. I said the Ted Birds of Washington.
The
because I thought that was the worst way to phrase it. Which this is a great example because sometimes I don't remember the jokes I've already made. So like, I was like, oh yeah, I remember I was thinking about the Ted name and I was like trying to relate it to Ryan Fitzpatrick in my head. And then I was like, oh yeah, he had that cicada in his beard. It's like, and the cicadas only come around every 17 years. I was like, oh, you should write a joke about like Washington only gets to the playoffs once every 17 years. And the cicada should be their new team mascot. And then I was like, I'm pretty sure you already did that joke. But there was a good few minutes there. I was like, oh, this is great. This is going into the script as soon as I finish doing these bicep curls.
Yeah, I mean, we've never beat a joke to death.
Never.
Anyway, we should talk about Phillip Rivers. We've never beaten any Phillip Rivers jokes like a dead horse.
Does he have a lot of kids?
I've heard he has a
I've
few.
never actually heard anything about Philip Rivers' children.
No, I don't know anything about them. I don't know their names. I assume that they all just kind of look like him and have that same doofus haircut. And I know they don't swear. I know they don't
definitely
do that.
not. One of them does behind Phil's back. I guarantee that.
Yeah. No,
I
he's
got excited about this idea, though, if I'm being honest.
What's that?
Philip Rivers joining the Broncos.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Man, that would be fun.
It would be really cool because like here's the scenario, because obviously he's a high school football coach now, and the scenario that we've laid out, or he laid out, is that there's a team that suffers an injury at the quarterback position late in the season, probably after the high school football season, which I think ends like the start of December usually.
Yeah,
something like that.
November, December, something like that.
So maybe like a team needs a quarterback for the last 3 or 4 games, or playoff run, and Phil said like if there's a team that needs him and he thinks the fit is right, he'd think about it.
And this came up because of Carson Wentz and his injury, and everybody's like, let's just bring back Philip Rivers, because he was actually pretty damn good last year for us. And like we said in the video, it's like Wentz might be ready week 1. Like he might be out just a week. So maybe the Colts aren't rushing to sign another quarterback.
Yeah, the time frame that they gave was either week 1 or like
5 to 12 weeks.
17 in the 2023 season.
Yes. But you posed the question, like, if Rivers is willing to come out of retirement, and let's say the Broncos need a quarterback at that time, I think he's an upgrade over Bridgewater and Drew Lock. But I think it points to what was a misconception about Aaron Rodgers joining the Broncos too late. Like, a lot of people are like, he couldn't join now. It's August, or, it's almost August. There won't be enough time. It's like, if Philip Rivers thinks that he can come into any contending team in December to come out of retirement or not rule that out, I think that narrative was false.
Didn't when the Bengals traded Carson Palmer to the Raiders, didn't he start with like 5 days of preparation?
Probably
like that.
We started Kendall Hinton last season. We'll be okay.
Yeah. No, like it's fine. He had 12 hours. Philip Rivers, he looks dumb. He's a very dumb looking person. However, I think he's actually pretty smart.
Yeah.
Football wise.
It would be such an amazing story if Rivers came back to the AFC West and then beat the Chargers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. And then
the Raiders are not included in the scenario.
Lost the Super Bowl to Aaron Rodgers. And then Aaron Rodgers, like, this is a team I can get back to the Super Bowl and win with. And then he joins the Broncos to prove all they needed was him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he
prove he's better than Philip Rivers.
Yep. Every quarterback's biggest dream to prove they're better than Phil Rivers. Yep.
Finally.
Sometimes I think about a scenario and I just keep talking until I fuck it up.
It would be funny with, we've made fun of Philip Rivers, and a lot of people have, for his penchant for late game turnovers. But for us to be on the other side of that and be handed out karma wouldn't be good for us, but it would really be funny.
Yeah.
For everyone else.
Man, I could do some bad Philip Rivers poetry every week. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Kidding me?
Just the faces.
Yeah.
Just when goofy faces and trash talking.
So you Google search Rivers, you've got just an endless supply of gold.
I'm just thinking about a face he made. Sorry, in like 2016. I think it might have been against the Colts, but it just made no sense. It was like late in the game, and he's like, he just did this like weird popping and like looks up. I was like, under what scenario is it normal to do that with your mouth and your eyes? I'll find the GIF.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
this
God, I would love to see that in orange and blue.
Yeah, this is how long Broncos fans have been waiting for their next QB. Like when it was like 3 years ago, or 3 years ago when we thought Rivers might be leaving. Like people were talking about Rivers coming to the Broncos then.
Mm-hmm.
And before he eventually, went to Indy, it was kind of a thought, but we thought we had Drew Lock, ready. We had found the guy. And so it wasn't really a conversation, but Rivers to the Broncos was definitely a wish list QB. So Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson. That was just this offseason.
Yeah. Jeez.
Phillip Rivers before, like Drew Brees, because people thought he might actually leave New Orleans. Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Like we've been opining for veteran QBs for a while. And I was going to start this episode. I forgot, but I was going to say that I will not say the name of the Packers starting quarterback for the entirety of this episode. I screwed that up. So maybe that'll be a challenge
for the rest of the episode
for next week. No, it's over. I'll say Aaron Rodgers right now.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. We're close, Will. The Hall of Fame game is tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah.
I had an idea for something more interesting than the Hall of Fame game because it's too early for a preseason game. And I don't know how the rules have changed, but a team having to play an extra preseason game sucks. Like, so let's just not play it. I thought having a skills competition between current Hall of Famers would be far more entertaining.
I agree.
Yes.
So I like this idea.
We're sold on this idea, right? We got to start pushing this.
I mean, Jim Brown running a 40-yard dash at this point in his life could kill him. But if it doesn't,
that's great television. If it does,
he'd go out a warrior if that was the case. Probably how he'd want to go out, honestly.
He would probably quit the sprint halfway through so he could become an actor.
Bang, puts it in from downtown.
What a reference.
Yeah,
I just think that'd be more interesting. Okay. What do you got to finish this bad boy out?
Good question. Let's check the rundown. Shit. Oh yeah, Pat Shurmur said that this is the best version of Drew Lock he's ever seen. He said, no, I don't have what he said. He just said it's the best version of Drew Lock he's ever seen. And let me just say this. I hope so. I really hope so. If it's not better than last year, we're in trouble.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like something to it too. We have to remember
there
was no off season.
Yeah, they did not have it. Locks.
There's no time to get up to speed, and we're not big Pat Shurmur fans here.
No.
I don't like his offense particularly.
No,
I think it's a little too vertical for my tastes. But year two in any offense, it's a good thing.
Yeah, and what's funny is like I would say Joe Flacco in his prime would have been a great fit for Shurmur because like Flacco seemed to do the deep ball very well and not a ton else.
Yeah, it felt like it was so frustrating because it felt like the Scangarello offense kind of fit Lock to a T.
Yep.
And
I think one stat that I keep seeing mentioned is like how well Drew Lock was off play action last year.
Yeah.
I think like he had a higher completion percentage than Aaron Rodgers or some shit. Like he was great off of play action. And you would have assumed we would have seen a lot more of that had Skangy been given another chance. So,
Yeah, and like the way it kind of alienated Phillip Lindsay from the offense too. was sort of tough to watch in real
Yeah.
time, and it just wasn't. It's a tough. They didn't see COVID coming or anything, but it felt like it was just bad timing to put an offense that seems pretty, kind of Masters level on a young quarterback in year 2 with no offseason to figure it out. It was a lot.
Yeah,
And
I would love to know who George Payton would have went with had he
yeah,
been here. You know what I mean? Like, I was also thinking, like, if I had got to ask George Payton a question, I would want to know how he felt about the Vikings losing Kevin Stefanski, because that seems like it was slam dunk for the Cleveland Browns. And I would just like to get George Payton talking about, what he thought of Stefanski and kind of just like his process of evaluating guys like that on his staff, because obviously I think it pertains to what he might have to do this coming off season if the Broncos are not good.
hoping
So it's
that's
like,
not the case.
Like, I was just kind of thinking about like how finding head coaches is pretty tough. And sometimes you just don't know when you're looking at another organization. Sometimes you don't know who the guy is that's benefiting the team the most. Like Frank Reich. with
Peterson,
Carson Wentz in Philly, and like John DeFilippo, I think got an OC job, and Frank Reich was still with the Eagles, right? Like people were going after John DeFilippo. Maybe I think Filippo ended up on the Vikings, maybe.
He did, yeah. I think he went to the Vikings and then the Jags.
Yeah, but like after listening to Nick Foles talk about Frank Reich, you're like, oh shit. It confirmed that he was probably more responsible for that offense adjusting and doing well than, I don't want to say more, because I know Doug Peterson was calling plays, but I think just having that relationship with Reich and Peterson was key.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference too. Like it's important to call the right plays at the right time, but it's like, who's going to teach you those plays and who's going to teach you those progressions and who's going to maximize, your decision-making on those plays. But like, if you're searching for a head coach, I don't think you can just go interview another team's player and be like, what, who made you good last year? I mean, maybe like, I don't know. It just feels like tampering probably. I don't think the league enforces that anyway. So I don't know. Maybe like if you ask Nick Foles, like who was, the secret to your success last year, he's probably not going to tell you because he wants to keep that guy around.
Yeah. It was John DeFilippo.
Yeah. It was the janitor.
It was, Carl.
Yes. Carl, the janitor. He's a real Goodwill Hunting type. Taught me everything. Drew those plays on that whiteboard while no one was watching.
Genius. Okay, we're gonna get out of here. We'll have football to talk about soon. I was just gonna say, like, we're rooting for Locke, we're rooting for Teddy. And last episode was a little dicey because of the connection, but I thought your observation that I was basically describing Teddy Bridgewater really funny. I was describing Teddy Bridgewater of what the Broncos really needed this season without even thinking of Teddy Bridgewater. So maybe he has a chance, but we'll wait and see. Yeah. I hope Drew Lock looks awesome in preseason. I think that's the best thing for the Broncos. Their training camp, it's like the opposite of what's happening with the 49ers right now. Like,
yes,
all the coaches, like, and John Lynch, like Jimmy Garoppolo's having the best camp of his life. And then all the media is like, Trey Lance is making throws we've never seen humans do before. Okay.
Maybe they've just been watching Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Mullins for too long.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know.
Like,
could have watched Aaron Rodgers play last year.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes makes some interesting throws too.
Josh Allen makes some throws. And Emmanuel Sanders said like the same thing about Josh Allen. And then the Bills like posted the throw Allen made. Not super like crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
like he hit Cole
again,
Beasley like across the middle.
Yeah, it's like every throw is going to look incredible after you spend a season catching passes from noodle arm Drew Brees and part-time quarterback Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Drew Brees, who was playing through 69 different injuries in his body.
Yeah. Drew Brees, who could like not take you could basically not inhale without needles.
He had to test that ball between plays. Where you blow the ball up to see if you're breathing strong enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the refs were making him do that. Like,
yeah, so like of course going to Josh Allen's gonna feel like a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, Allen's got arm talent.
I'm surprised like he's able to like catch passes from Josh Allen, considering he's gone from like the quarterbacks he's gone from Peyton Manning, Trevor Siemian.
Simeon, also a Saint right now.
I guess
he got a shout out from Sean Payton on NFL Network. So
is he going to win the starting job? I would love.
No, but Payton likes what the backups are doing.
Fair enough.
You mentioned Simeon before Ian Book, though. I was like,
ooh.
All right, Trev.
Ian Book. He's a local legend here.
Yeah.
Not really. No one even knew who he was before he went to Notre Dame.
Oh, he's a Sacktown king?
He is. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, good, rooting for him.
Rooting for Ian Book. All right. We're getting out of here. Thank you guys for listening. Will, thank you for joining me and accommodating my fucking crazy schedule.
Anytime.
Good night. Good luck.
John Elway only played with one ACL.
Bada booey.